So in order to make a Yorkshire pudding successfully in the air fryer, you need to make sure that the units you've got have a removable trivet, so like this, and you can actually take the trivet out and just use the base as a solid item here. Today, I'm just going to be using the smaller of the two. So what I've done here is I've put some oil at the base just to make sure that it covers the base, and I'm just moving it around a bit. And what I'm going to do is just take a silicone brush and just go round the sides there. This is sunflower oil. I'm just going to go around the sides and just make sure that everything is totally covered. Because although this is a non-stick pan, just want to make doubly sure that the Yorkshire pudding will be very easily removed once it's cooked. Now you could of course use this Yorkshire pudding as an accompaniment to a roast dinner. In that case I would actually be cooking the meat in the larger of the containers, and then once the meat is out and resting I would then be cooking the Yorkshire pudding while it's actually resting in the smaller of the container. You could of course also use this as for a sausage toad in the hole, and in that case you would be using the larger of the two containers and perhaps up to 6 sausages. Now for this particular recipe I'm going to be using a 2-egg batter mix, but what I'm going to do now is to preheat this oil because we want it really searing hot, and I've got it at 200 degrees and I'm going to give it 5 minutes while we prepare the batter. So as always, the very best way to make a batter for successful Yorkshire pudding is to use an equal amount by volume of eggs, milk and flour, and always start off by measuring your eggs. So this is a 2-egg mixture, and as you can see it comes up to exactly the 100 milliliter mark there. And we're going to now use 100 milliliters of milk. So there we are, that's up to the 100 milliliter mark of milk. And here we have the plain flour right up to the 100 milliliter mark there. Do always make sure that you shake the jug thoroughly to ensure that the flour is level on the top, otherwise it will be an inaccurate measure. So this is an all-in-one batter, which means exactly as it says, you put everything straight into the moulinex or whatever it is you've got, starting off with the eggs and then the milk and then the flour, which you sift straight into the goblet, followed by some salt and pepper. If you don't have a liquidizer, then you can just do this with a handheld electric whisk, but other than that, you just switch on and blend until it's smooth. And then what you need to do after a few moments is just scrape down the sides, just to get any unmixed bits of flour. And then give it another quick burst. And that's the batter made. And you may see some old-fashioned recipes that say you have to leave this overnight and etc, etc. So I have tried that both ways and I have not found any difference whatsoever. So that's the oil preheated. We're now just going to pour the batter straight into the hot oil. So don't hang about, you need to actually be really quick, and you take it out, tip it into the oil here, and then back to the air fryer as quickly as you can. And now we're going to set the time. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase the temperature to 200 degrees and we're going to give this 15 minutes. Okay, time is up. We will see what it looks like. So that's what it looks like on the inside. As you can see, it's very well risen. I'm going to just take it out of the container and put it on here so you can see what it looks like. And what I'm going to do is just take a piece out and show you that on the outside it's really lovely and crisp, and on the inside it's really light and fluffy, which is exactly how a Yorkshire pudding should be. Now those timings obviously are a guide because each air fryer is different. You may need to give it an extra 5 or 10 minutes, but anyway, that is how you make a Yorkshire pudding in an air fryer. And one final thing I'll say is that this must be served absolutely immediately. It does not like to hang about waiting.